Welcome to another season of Providence Threads. Providence Threads is an intentional name as you think of threads coming together and weaving into something that's useful and beautiful. Providence Threads is designed to listen to stories from members from our congregation or people we have connection with to see how God is weaving their stories and connections with people from around the world to glorify God's name and for us to see something beautiful and unique. So welcome to the second season of Providence Threads, where we're intentionally walking through some key areas so that we as a congregation or anybody listening can learn not just to have words on our heart about how to boldly love and offer hope as Jesus did, but rather to learn how to put it into practice and to live it. We truly want to be a people who boldly share Jesus' love and hope. So in the second season of Providence Threads, what we're looking to do is look at three critical areas of our faith development. One is discipleship. Two is about raising up leaders. And three is all about multiplication of ministries and new churches. See, healthy things, God designed it. Healthy things naturally multiply. And if we don't have a measure of health, things start to decay and decline. And we want to be about multiplication. We want to be about health. So that's why we want to talk about discipleship. And we're going to bring in different people. We're going to talk about different aspects of what discipleship is. Discipleship simply, and sometimes that term confuses us or it's just, what does it mean? Simply what we want to do is we want to become more and more like Jesus. It's not about information. It's about allowing the presence of Christ to dwell more and more in our hearts and our minds, and that we start to model our lives after Jesus, so that when we bump into people, they're not bumping into Toby, they're bumping into the presence of Jesus himself. So we're going to be talking about discipleship. And the multiplication of leaders. Again, all healthy things grow. And what we want to see is a multiplication of leaders. And a friend of mine has described that leadership simply is the person with the biggest towel. In Christian leadership, things are turned upside down. And what do I mean by that? It was Jesus who took his disciples. He was the leader. But he stood up, took off his outer robe, grabbed a towel, and he washed their feet. A leader in God's kingdom is the one who serves. And we want to grow more and more people who understand that upside-down kingdom that God has designed, that we just take that posture of humility and service to one another. And as we do that, as we disciple more people, and more people grow in their understanding of what Christian leadership is, that just naturally reproduces new ministry opportunities and new church opportunities. So we want to live into those three things. And we want to see, not just here in our local community, but for whatever reason, God in this season of Providence has opened up the opportunity for us to have connections around the world. And we bless God for that. So we want to have hearts of humility and surrender to say, God, what are you doing? Where are you sending us? How are you equipping us? How are we taking all of these connections and how are you collaborating that together? And how do we be good stewards with that? Jesus, in his closing words before he ascended, and he is ascended and he is coming again, and we long for that day. But in between, Jesus left us with these words. He said, all power and authority have been given to me. Therefore, what? In your going. As you go to your cubicle, as you go to school, as you go to the grocery store, as you live in your neighborhood, in your going, in just your day-to-day living, go make disciples and teach them everything that I have commanded you. And I will be with you to the end of the age. And what I'm celebrating about our Providence community is go make disciples of all nations. And we have so many nations represented in our gathering here on a Sunday, but also our connections around the world. Providence, we're doing it, and God's inviting us to even multiply and do it more. Make disciples, help people learn what it means to be followers of Jesus, not just to have information and say, hey, I believe these things, but to live it out in our day-to-day actions. And again, we are seeing multiplication of more and more people putting acts of service into motion, not only just here locally, but around the globe. And then the promise that God is with us forever. So Providence, as we enter into this new season, I hope that you are deeply inspired, that you are encouraged as we look more deeply into discipleship, into leadership development, and then just in the dreaming and the expectation of the multiplication of ministry in new churches. So grace and peace. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026.